Hi, and welcome back to Dwayne's Guitar Lessons. In this video we're going to go over the fifth pattern, the fifth and final pattern in the minor pentatonic scales. And like I said in those other videos, we discussed the other patterns. Pattern 1, we're going to be in the key of A, which is right here at the 5th fret. So pattern 1 is 5-8, pattern 2, 8-10, pattern 3, 10-12, pattern 4 is 12-15, and pattern 5 is going to be 15-17 right here. Or you can also play it up here, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so if we're just moving up the fretboard, now we're at the 15th fret, so it's going to be 15-17, 15-17, 14-17, 14-17, 15-17, and 15-17 again. I like this pattern because it's pretty easy. The 4 of the strings are the same, and then the 2 middle ones are just different. So once again, 15-17, 15-17, 14-17, 14-17, 15-17, and 15-17. Okay, we go back. 17-15, 17-15, 17-14, 17-14, 17-15, and 17-15 again. And you're residing on the A note at the 17th fret, which is the same note as that's on the 5th fret. Okay, just in the next octave. An octave is basically the next pitch up or next pitch down. Okay, so once again, our 5th pattern. So there we go. We have all of them. We can play basically from one A all the way to the next. And once again, like I mentioned before, work on that alternate picking. Maybe start with just down picking to begin with. But then eventually try to get back into doing alternate picking just to, for the speed of it, because that's what really helps with speed is your alternate picking. Now you can play fast going down as well, but I mean, to really play like, and try not to drop your pick, that's always a good thing. Jeez, I'm like Butterfingers this morning. What's going on here? Alright, hold on. Alright, let me get another pick here. Okay. Now, being that we're in the key of A, we can also play the 5th pattern up here. So we're playing it right here at 15-17, which is that first dot. We can also play it here at the first dot here as well. So we can go 3-5, 3-5, 2-5, 2-5, 3-5, 3-5. And once again, you can tell that's an A because it resides on that A note. And when you study guitar songs, solos and stuff from other guitar players, you'll see that a lot of their stuff is utilized in these patterns. Maybe not every single note is in these patterns, but some of them, some of the licks that they're doing. So now we can play all the way actually from our 3rd fret all the way up to our 17th. And then what's really cool is it starts all over again. So we get up here to our 5th pattern at 15-17. You say, well, where do we go from there? Well, it starts right back again over at pattern 1, 17th fret, which is the same note as your A note in that higher octave. So once you get done with the 5th pattern, the next pattern next to it is pattern 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and it starts all over again. And it just goes on endlessly. Of course, you run out of fretboard, but if the fretboard kept going on, it would just go on endlessly. Okay, and that's what's really neat about it. Once you learn this, you can just play all over the fretboard. You know, you just until you run out of fretboard, really. Now we're in pattern 1. Pattern 2, or I'm sorry, this is pattern 5. Pattern 4. Pattern 1. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back to 5 again right here. And of course that's in the key of A. If we were in the key of G, everything would move down 2 frets. Of course, so you would have kind of, let's see, to play pattern 5 right here, you would have to go 1, 3, 1, 3, and open 3, open 3, and 1, 3, 1, 3 again. And open be because of the nut. It resides right there on G. Or you could start with the G up here, which is the first dot. So the 5th pattern in G would now be, instead of at the 15th fret, it would now be at the 13th fret. So it would be 13, 15, 13, 15, 12, 15, 12, 15, 13, 15, 13, 15 in the key of G. And then of course, your first pattern would come right after that. So now you'd be at 15, 18. In key of A, I'm sorry, not the key of A, we discussed that. The key of E, okay, now we're at the 12th fret. Okay. I love that song. That's a little bit of riff from Paranoid from Black Sabbath. It's like the first songs that I learned, just in power chords, which I've discussed earlier. Great song to work on with your power chords because it's pretty simple. Okay, so once again, if this is E, then our 5th pattern is going to be right here at the... Now let's see, we would run out of fretboard space up here. We wouldn't have enough fretboards. So 1, 2, 3, you know, we'd run out of fretboards. So we couldn't play it up here. So we'd have to go down here. We'd have to say, okay, this is our first pattern starts here. We know that our 5th pattern is just going to be a whole step, which is 2 frets back. So if our E is at the 12th fret, then our 5th pattern is going to be at the 10th fret. So it's going to be 10, 12, 10, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12. Our 4th pattern, right here, 3rd pattern, 2nd pattern, 1st pattern. And then it's, being that we have our nut here, we're going to use that as our note. So our 1st pattern, like I discussed before, was going to be open, sorry, open 3, open 2, open 2, open 2, open 3, open 3, which as you can tell is the same thing as this. And we don't put our finger there because the nut is taking care of those notes. And what I like about the key of E, especially this first pattern, is you can tell that this song is in this key. Okay, that riff, that's Back in Black by AC/DC. It's right here in that first pattern. You know, even though if you were to play with open chords, it'd be open E, and then your D power chord without the F sharp here. It would be just a 2 and a 3 on the 2nd and 3rd string. And then your A would be, you could play just the 2 middle fingers right here. I mean, you could play it with full natural chords if you want. It doesn't really matter. This is just a simpler way of playing it. So open E, and then a power chord D, which is a 2 and a 3 on the 3rd and 2nd string, and then an A, which would be your 2 middle fingers on the 2 middle string 2nd fret. With this kind of up and down motion on the picking, just not, just real relaxed. And then your pull-offs, which of course you want to work on those. Of course, you just does it more like this. And then a bend right here on the 3rd string 2nd fret. And if you look at those notes, they're right there in that minor pentatonic pattern. And you'll hear that in songs, that kind of technique, and then once you learn that, you say, oh, I know what he's doing. He's going like this. Hammer on, pull off, trill. Angus does a lot of that kind of stuff. That's kind of his style. So, once again, I don't want to make this video too long, but like I said, now we've got all 5 patterns. Pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 4, or scales, whatever you want to look at them, and pattern 5. So once again, try those in some different keys, move them around the fretboard, practice those and try to visualize them, connect them together like puzzle pieces, and just try to get those intervals. Look at a string, pick a string and say, okay, what is the interval? I'm in pattern 1, what does pattern 2 look like, pattern 3, pattern 4, pattern 5, and the more you know that, it won't come overnight, of course. It takes a lot of practice, lots of hours of practice to visualize that stuff, but if you work on it, you'll eventually just be able to play some really cool stuff and stay in key, and you'll sound good. And you can play some of these other notes too, you just don't really want to land on them. I would recommend just kind of sticking to these notes that I'm showing you right here in these patterns, and then like I said, on our next video I'll put it all together and play some blues for you or something so you can actually see how it all works together in song. Okay, so practice that. You have yourself a good one. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, shoot me an email or something, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So have yourself a good one, and then look out for my next one. All right, thanks.